Welcome to the PharmaSource podcast. Today I'm joined by Sigma Mustafa, who is Chief Scientific Officer, and Katie Egger, Chief Business Officer at KBI Biopharma. We're recording this live from CPHI Frankfurt for what we call a strategy teardown, an interview where we'll be exploring KBI's expansion into ADC development and what's next on the horizon for the company. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Great to have you.
Pleasure.
To begin with, perhaps Sigma, you could give me a bit of an introduction to KBI, what it is you do and what makes you different.
KBI 20 years ago started as an analytical services company, and we became a powerhouse for analytical services. Then in 2010, about 15 years back, we started offering integrated PD manufacturing services in the mammalian side. That's actually when I joined. So I've been with the company 15 years and built it grounds up.
Where did you start, by the way? What was your job role when you joined the company?
I was director for process development.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, that's where I started. So it's been an amazing journey, truly exponential growth. And eventually we brought in microbial development and manufacturing as well. And then we also acquired Celexis, a premier mammalian cell line provider from Switzerland. So overall, end-to-end, we provide all services for drug substance development. So from cell line to process development to manufacturing with all the analytical services for all size companies. So we have companies, our clients who are maybe a two individual company, a virtual company, to all the large pharmas as well. And what differentiates us is we are truly built on our analytical powerhouse as well as our cell lines on both mammalian and microbial side. On the microbial side, we have Pure coli, which is E. coli cell line from PL21 strain, which is a standard strain where we engineered 1,000 genes out of 5,000 genes. So the productivity is exceptionally high, and we are really good in problem solving. So customers come to us when they have a tough challenge, essentially. And we are high touch. Customers have access to our technical leaders. Those are some of our main differentiating factors, I'd say.
Great. How many facilities do you have? Where are they located? You mentioned one in Switzerland, of course.
Yes, there's one in Switzerland, in Geneva, and the remaining ones are in the US.
Yeah.
So we have 3 facilities in the US. In North Carolina, and those are all our mammalian sites. So the 3 facilities are our venture center facility, which is a 100,000 square feet non-GMP area for all process development. Then we have 2 GMP facilities at Hamlin and Patriot Park. The Hamlin site has 4 by 2,000 liter reactors, and the Patriot Park has 6 by 2,000 liter reactors. Hamlin is a hybrid facility for clinical and commercial, and Patriot Park is a fully commercial facility. Then we have 2 sites in Colorado. One is in Boulder, Colorado. That's our PD manufacturing site. And then we have a site in Louisville, Colorado, which is very close to Boulder, actually. And that's an analytical services site. So across our network, we have over 400 people supporting analytical work. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Talking about the US, the world's focus really is on US manufacturing right now, reshoring manufacturing back to the States. How do you see KBI's role in that? How's that impacting your business?
Sure. First and foremost, I think there is certainly a tremendous push for what we're calling onshoring here in the US. We recognize that. But I think we try to balance that. It is a market that is oftentimes reflective and reactionary. Our job is to be much more proactive and provide the best risk mitigation strategy for our customers. So while we feel very fortunate that we do have US manufacturing, maintaining a global footprint is very important for us in being able to meet the needs of our customers. That said, strategically speaking, RTP, Research Triangle Park, and the Boulder areas are rich in not only academia, but they're biotech hubs, right?
Yeah.
And so the facilities that we do have here in the US, and I know Sigma highlighted a number of them, they do have a number of different advantages for us. The infrastructure, obviously, first and foremost, the existing capabilities, the opportunity to expand, but being able to draw upon, the like I said, academic-rich nature of the customers that we are obviously looking to provide for is certainly one way of attracting the best talent. I think there has been a huge investment that KBI has put forth recently to really identify and hire the right people to make sure that we are consistently not only growing, but have continuous improvement. That's not just a technical term, but certainly from a human capital perspective, requires top of mind, proactive planning, working locally, but really ultimately making sure that we're optimizing the not just that education, but training to make sure that our people are the best in class and are able to provide the best in class results. So,
would you say it's becoming more challenging, particularly in RTP? How much is going on there? Talent is getting spread.
Oh, it's a great question. One of the things that we lead by is, healthy competition is good, right? So competition brings out the best in us. And I think being surrounded with such incredible high quality other biotech manufacturing is a good thing. It certainly is oftentimes something that we are cognizant of, right? How are we attracting and retaining the right people within our workforce? And yes, we recognize that the area does continue to grow, but it's also attracting a tremendous amount of people as well. Yep. Onshoring isn't just about, tech transferring into the US. It's about creating opportunities here. It's about educating people here. It's about people seeking the right types of opportunities to impact on a global scale the health of patients worldwide. And so for us, the markets within which we're operating are in fact exactly that. So it does help accelerate not just speed to market for the manufacturing, but speed to market for the people, right? And seeing it from both angles, that's something that we're consistently and always talking about. Not just as an executive team, but across our industry. I think the reason you're here, right, is maintaining the line of sight. Are we driving the right conversations? Do we have the right plans? So going back to one thing that you said, though, because I do want to highlight, it's a trend right now, and certainly one that is rapidly becoming not only widely talked about, but certainly widely seen. But we are looking out, beyond the future of just what the next 1 to 2 years provides. So having, again, what's the right long-term plan for our customers? What's the regulatory strategy with which they are operating? The markets in which they are planning to enter, the clinical needs, the regulatory opportunities, discussions, and most importantly, questions that they're asking. Just to kind of let you know, from our site's perspective, we have global inspections and a quality system that is a global quality system that is able to meet those needs no matter where our customers are filing, where those customers need their drug product. We have a QP in Europe to help release the product wherever it needs to go. So continuing to maintain the ability to do whatever the world needs, but obviously recognizing right now the short-term implications here in the US, again, should be something that we're always ensuring we have the right risk profile to make possible.
On that point about long-term planning, one of the themes from CDMO Live in May, one of the main themes that was coming up from the external manufacturing leaders was how they feel like in such an uncertain world, long-term planning is pretty difficult right now. And I think there's a temptation to sit back and wait and maybe put projects on hold for a time. What's your experience been with that?
I'm going to answer in two parts. I think the first is actually going back to something that I touched on briefly, which is, having the right plan and the right people. We've built out an extensive S&OP and procurement network within our team in order to have that long-term plan, have the relationships, the vendor management, the procurement strategy. A lot of what our customers are concerned about is, amidst the uncertainty with both geopolitical issues and tariffs, are they able to have the foresight and planning for their materials that are necessary? And are we able to secure not just the supply, but the pricing so that they can have the right COGS model, meet the right margins, and obviously stay competitive within their own markets? So our team has done a fantastic job really maintaining not just the right discussions, but the right long-term plan and strategy and relationships. At the end of the day, it's all about, do we have the right relationships and agreements and alignments with those vendors in order to get that security that we can then provide to our customers? And I'm very, very humbled by the work that they've done. I think it's been a tremendous effort and certainly a labor of love, but one that I hope our customers are able to appreciate. I think conversely, on the flip side of that, we are continuing to evaluate what those different implications are relative to, I want to say, again, uncertainty within the global markets. The good news is what we're seeing this quarter. I mean, even just yesterday, I'm sure you saw Fed just cut rates again.
Yeah.
It's increasing the opportunity and availability for capital. So it's a little bit of a different side of the coin, but the good news is we are seeing investment that is kind of coming back into the market. I think there's a lot of good signs that we're seeing. And for us, having, again, risk mitigation, but proactive supply chain planning, vendor management, and a strong ability to procure the materials that our customers need with the guarantees and assurances they're looking for is what builds trust. Yeah. And that's what we're here to do.
Sigma, on that point about capacity, how do you tend to manage that? How do you manage the current ongoing work that you're doing, end-to-end projects with more modular-based projects? What's the approach?
Thank you, Luke. Capacity modeling and load balancing. So in terms of activity was across different departments, having a load balance to manage the ebb and flow of demand is one of the things we heavily have to focus on for our success, right? And we look at integrated programs versus modular programs is a nice way essentially to do that management of that ebb and flow, right? Those modular programs, especially they come in the form of analytical programs, which we are a powerhouse, we are known for a long time. So we a lot of times have this, what we call standalone analytical programs, right? We have standalone cell line programs, both in mammalian on Celexis side and in pure coli side. And those just fit in nicely as smaller scope, smaller timeline programs within our integrated timeline. The integrated timeline may be a whole year program. They are our bread and butter, but we are one of those CDMOs that love taking programs of all sizes and shapes, right? And we see them also converting to the other type of program. A lot of times a client only knows us for analytical services, comes in and then realizes we are this integrated shop and the programs convert and vice versa.
Yep.
So that modeling is important and it's complex, but we have been able to successfully do that to protect ourselves from some of the geopolitical changes and the impact that other CDMOs have seen.
I suppose you've got enough sites that you can proactively manage that.
Absolutely, yeah, that is correct.
A few months ago, you published some news about renewal. Didn't mention in the press release who that big pharma company was, but the renewal of a program for a number of years ahead. I'd be interested, I guess, in finding out how strategically you integrate with companies like that. You make sure that it's not just like a one-off transactional sell, but that you really partner with a company, you really integrate your team with their team, so that those kind of partnerships almost renew themselves. How do you go about doing that?
I love this question. I think it's a couple of different components that I'd like to address in the answer. First of all, from a partnership perspective, why our customers choose us and what makes a partnership successful is trust. Trust and reliability. Those are the two key pillars, obviously, which we are not just expected, but quite frankly, relied upon in order to deliver that success to our customers. Large pharma, small pharma, mid-size, whatever the customer size is, at the end of the day, everybody is looking at their molecule, their opportunity of how they're going to serve the patients in order to address the need, the indication at hand. And they're looking to us, to KBI, to give them that guarantee. They want to look across the table and shake hands and say, we can trust you. And what we're asking of you, regardless of whether it's a $100 million deal or a $1 million deal, is that they know that we're going to guarantee the services with which they're signed up for. Independent of size, large pharma or not, that's our job. So I think that's ingrained in the culture of who we are and what we intend and certainly pride ourselves on delivering to them.
Yeah.
Our portfolio is comprised of both large, mid, and small size biotech and pharma opportunities. So the large pharma deal obviously was announced as one, but I think for us, having the right balance within the portfolio is the sustainability model upon which we look to build the long-term success of us as an organization. Because equally important as their success is that they know that we're the trusted, lasting partner that has the right balance of what our portfolio is in order to make sure that we are a sustainable entity long-term for the delivery that they need.
Yep.
The deal, of course, and I know that the release I think that you're talking about is one of several, right? And I think it's a good opportunity to talk about, when we think through what is a fantastic labor of love and operation of success that has helped several now molecules that have moved through our pipeline, that have come to us in early stages, achieve now the commercial status and approval. But taking a step back, that's the end that you see, that the market sees,
yes.
right? We've achieved this successful approval, from the FDA, and our partner then obviously has achieved the commercial ability to guarantee that contract to us. What's oftentimes missed is all of the work that
Sure.
our scientists have done in partnership with their teams to have that success. And it's a very long process, right? So that's something that we do and like to say that we pride ourselves on at KBI as well, which is having customers come to us early and they grow with us. We want to see that success at the end, and we want their molecules to obviously reach that status. But oftentimes what's most important is knowing that there's hundreds of other programs that are going through that clinical process along the way that we're supporting. What is their actual IND strategy? How are we able to make the process improvements? How are we able to meet the needs that they have within the time constraints that they have? Speed to market being top of mind, right? Sometimes you're in a race against the clock just to have the opportunity with which you're afforded the later stage commercial win. So yes, large pharma and those types of opportunities are really important and we get so excited about. But most significant for me is all of the work that it takes behind the scenes and that KBI is able to deliver to those customers to make that possible.
Yeah. Is it a different type of structure or like governance approach if they've got their own quality and regulatory? How do you bring those two together?
We talk about governance a lot. It's one of my favorite words, so I'll anchor on that for a moment. There's a Peter Drucker quote I use often, and oftentimes when requoted, what gets measured gets managed.
Yeah.
For our customers, their expectation, and specifically when we have a commercialized product, is that we have a very well mechanized, managed, and measured approach to what the commercial operation needs in order to be successful. So a governance model, a well-defined project team, standardized touch points, review of data, risk mitigation strategy, and probably first and foremost, what a quality operation needs in order for that program or product to be successful or top of mind for us. That's something that we do not just talk about, but implement. And it's a code for what we envision success to look like.
Is any of that underpinned by a digital integration with the customer?
Ooh, do you know about Program View?
No, tell me.
Oh, okay. Perhaps maybe, just one area of opportunity is the data transparency with which our customers have not only come to expect, but that we are able to provide through investment in digital tools.
Okay.
So for us, what we've seen is, customers like to see in daily, weekly, monthly updates, whatever the program's data is, reporting, certainly day to day, understanding how their molecule is performing. There's been a tremendous amount of investment in a proprietary tool that we use in order to afford that, which we call Program View.
Okay.
I often say that this is real-time access, and with that comes the ability to log on to a portal and be able to see on any given day, at any given moment in time, exactly what is happening in the labs. It's something that I do believe is a significant differentiator, not just for our customers, but really being able to access not just data, but transparency. I think it's something to be said when you pride yourself on technology and innovation, the investment within that technology and innovation that makes you stand apart. This is a differentiator for us in that space. And it's not only part of a quote-unquote governance structure, right? Because it's like, how do we provide that data? How are we providing those updates? But the expectation is again, the communication becomes that much easier. There's a transparency within which we are reporting. It's not just about the data, but it's about the customer knowing that at any given moment in time, they are able to see everything that we can see. They are able to access and know that they can have the latest and greatest accumulation of everything that is happening at any moment.
There's so much demand, I think, from the sponsor side for that kind of transparency, but it does feel like still within the CDMO side, because of course, it takes investment and time to do it, about when's the time to invest in that. Do you think we're getting to a point where those sorts of digital capabilities will become a deal breaker? Because until now, I think a lot of people have been holding back on that investment.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about proactive planning. I think right now is top of mind for everyone. I hear more about AI than I do about manufacturing. Pretty sure that there are going to be bots operating a lot of machinery in the future. But I do think that it's a differentiator that we'll see become more and more relevant in the industry. I know that we all have to make decisions about how we're seeing the right returns on our investment and where we're able to generate the right type of returns for our customers. Data accuracy, data transparency, and reliability is the most important thing that we can provide. And as a CDMO, if we're not accurate in the data, certainly our customers aren't going to be successful in either the filing and or performance and or expectations thereof.
Cool. Thank you. We've talked about how your digital capabilities are a differentiator. Sigma, could you just sort of tell us some more of the things which you believe are differentiators, which we haven't already covered?
Absolutely. It starts for us with our technical capabilities, and I'll give you some example, Luke. So we say that we are an analytical powerhouse. What does that mean, right? Because any of our competitors would say that they also have analytical capabilities. For us, what that means is we try to describe all the equipment we have, all the capabilities. It's easier for us to say what we don't have than list everything we have, just because we have so much, right? So some examples would be cell-based assay, for example. We are tremendously good in cell-based assay. We have a center of excellence for all kinds of mass spec, right? We have a center of excellence for particle analysis, particles in drug product. We have, in the whole world, there are a handful of companies, you can count in one hand, that can do analytical ultracentrifugation as GMP testing, and we are number 2 in the world that got GMP testing done there, right? So just in terms of not just the core HPLCs and core testing, but all these more advanced testings, we do every day, and we do so well that other CDMOs actually contract to us for a lot of those additional work, even if they are doing the PD manufacturing component, right? What we see on the cell line side is the engineering we have done for Celexis cell line. We moved from what's called random integration to targeted integration. So we have our own targeted integration landing pad technology. We have some CRISPR type technology that we are also implementing. We also have transposase-based technology. We have specific cell lines that are low on certain type of product attributes, for example, fucosylation. But we are also going to introduce soon in the market low virus-like particle-based CHO cell line as well. So we are always at the front end of these technologies, right? Same thing for pure coli on the microbial side. We are not only able to produce very high productivity, but we are looking at producing GLP-1 and other peptides, as well as Fabs in pure coli, which historically has been challenging because you do see degradation of the products, and we are being able to solve some of those problems. So it does come to our technical capability and problem-solving capability, where customer can come and tell us, I have this Frankenstein complex 3-chain, 4-chain molecule. Have you ever done it? Yeah. And we say, yeah, we have done molecule A this way, molecule B that way, molecule C this way. And they're like, wow, so you guys really know what you have done, and you can tell us the variations of solutions you had to come up with, right?
I hope you're not actually developing Frankenstein.
Not yet, but a lot of interesting molecule structures for sure. So technology side is a big differentiator for us. Also in terms of client experience side, obviously what we talked about program view, and one feature of program view is we really wanted to move away from email-based communication with clients and have all the communication within that platform, essentially, so it's traceable, you can flag it, you can look at data, you can provide comments. So we are really trying to make the conversations and the decision-making process to be as smart as possible. What we see with our customers is the stickiness or the customer staying with us over extended period of time is very high for KBI. Once they come to us, customers are bringing their whole portfolio pipeline of molecules, and oftentimes these are maybe smaller or mid-sized customers who are growing with us. As they are growing, their portfolio is maturing and going to late phase, or they are getting acquired by larger company, we are in that journey with them. So what that has led to is doing 2 to 3 PPQs per year for customers where we started with preclinical work, right? So that overall customer experience of they are talking to the same team they talked to 5 years back, and now the molecule has moved forward to late phase is unique. So it doesn't feel transactional. It feels very technical discussions and very much of a shared, pride in moving your baby forward, yeah. Right? So that's what distinguishes us.
Fantastic. Thank you. And a final question. And it's great to be here with you both because it's great to be able to talk about both the science and the business together. So I'd like to ask the same question to you both, and if you could frame it from your side of the table. What's next for KBI? And if we were to have this conversation in 3 years' time, what do you think the company will have achieved? Where would you like to see it be? And if we could start off, Katie, on the business side.
I think it's how we define success. For us as an organization, our success is based upon our partners' success. And in this ever-changing market, we need to be both flexible, adaptable, but really proactive in understanding what those needs are. Needs shift, right? That's the business that we're in. And to Sigma's point, especially within the clinical landscape, there's always going to be something that arises as we are growing with our partners and our customers that we want to make sure that we're ready for. Success for us really looks like success for our customers. And as our portfolio does continue to grow into more of the later stage and commercial programs, continuing to see that success in the market for them over long-term tenure, as well as continuing to watch the earlier stage portfolio grow as well in parallel, is how our long-term success will be demonstrated. I think that there is a lot of opportunity right now that we're seeing, given, again, recent changes within the market, and I hope significant ongoing opportunities for additional investment. But, balancing that, and I'll turn it over to Sigma, based upon what we're seeing in the changing biologics landscape, is really important. So the investments that we're able to make, making the right choices about what the market is asking for, listening to the needs of our customers and making the right decisions at the right time in the types of technologies and operational improvements that are going to afford us the strategic and competitive edge is something that we need to regularly and consistently demonstrate our ability to do to maintain what that competition requires.
Thank you.
On the technology side, we are seeing almost an explosion of the diversity of molecule types, right? We are seeing so many different types of conjugations now. Biologics used to be mainly you need biologists. Now you need chemists and biologists, right? Because you are constantly conjugating proteins or peptides with different small molecules, not just the payloads, but oligonucleotide or different other types of conjugations and chemistries that is requiring overall knowledge base to increase, and it's really exciting to see that platform change. And we are already quite knowledgeable in this area. We have done upward of 20 such conjugated products already and have taken them to clinic, but we are focusing on that quite a bit. The other area is, going back to the earlier discussion on AI, is we have always heavily invested in high throughput technology and automation because that was our way to gain efficiency and scale, be able to grow faster, right? And we are oftentimes one of the first, if not the first, in trying out a new technology to go into clinic or to market. For example, using the Amber, automated bioreactors for process characterization, as opposed to doing 3-liter or 20-liter reactors, doing this in 250 mil to mimic a 20,000-liter reactor, right? We were the first company to do that. So we continuously look at miniaturization and also looking at the data, because this kind of technology is easily amenable to data transformation usually, and then data visualization, then also holistically looking at the data to create more value. For us, the profiles of molecules we have and the knowledge base that we have to learn more from it and be able to predict process conditions and predict what performance to expect from a molecule, so you can reduce the wet work in the lab, is the holy grail, right? So that's what we are leading towards.
Thank you both so much. Great speaking to you.
Thank you so much, Luke.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.